Hiya, how you doing, Hinsters? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome to Happy Hump Day. You can subscribe, you can thumbs up, and all that jazz if you like. Check out the description box below for info on my services. So I had this idea to create what I want to call a reading back series where I make a wee video at the end of a zodiacal season, looking back at what I experienced based on my own birth chart and to check in with you, the Hinsters, as well, to see what you experienced during that season. The good, the bad, and the ugly in all its glory. And I want to do this because obviously it's quite fun, but because it's also a great way to see in hindsight how the gods have spoken to us and how the transits played out and in what particular ways the transits express themselves this time round. Like, for example, we always have a first house season every single year, but that doesn't mean that the sun is teaching us or highlighting the same old thing every time around. Yeah, let's get into it. I've got my journal here because I can have the memory of a feckin' fish sometimes. And I do also do like tarot every day, almost always, for myself, like a card of the day, which I record in there. Um, Now, I am a Cancer rising, so Taurus season, which has ended now, but Taurus season is always my 11th house season, the season of good spirit, of friends, of blessings rained down on us from the gods. And as we may know, this time around we also had a Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and I want to do something separate maybe on that specifically, which I might pop on my TikTok. So if you do have TikTok, you can look in the description box below and give me a little follow, because I'm brand new there. But anyway, I am gonna look today at the good, the bad, and just the weird stuff that I experienced in Taurus season. And I'll try not to read any real names or anything like that out from my journal, lol. And I'm not going to be divulging too much or everything because this is public. And I do believe that you should never show all of your cards in public because you never know who's watching. And I know sometimes people like to spitefully watch or have a cruel curiosity. And I know that sometimes it's a bit like you're a fish in the Pacific Ocean, right? Or you're someone in the Pacific Ocean. You're a person. What am I thinking of? You're a person, and like you cut yourself on purpose. You don't know who's gonna smell that blood and come for you, come to you. You don't know if they're coming to save you or to eat you, or it's like having a bright flashing light whenever you put something out there in public, or even if you're not on social media, like just like telling everything to everyone all the time, all your business. I think it's wise to not do that. But anyway, whatever. Shall we start with the good shiz? Let's start with the good shiz. So April 20th was the beginning of Taurus season. We had a lush new moon as well. I was getting on with my preparation to work and live abroad and making good progress and feeling great. And by April 27th, let me just find it because everything is everywhere all the time, right? April 27th. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So April 27th, I was super chuffed because I passed one of the online courses that I was taking and I got the certificate. And I even had time that day to attend an online webinar, which like I was so grateful for because some of you might not know, but I used to be in academia. I have done a PhD. So I've been studying for like zillion years. But because of being like poor and busy, I rarely could attend stuff like seminars. And I just love it when I can attend something and get something useful out of it and just connect with other minds and not feel like my brain is like, what's the word? Atrophying, you know? I was just also on this day, like I was just sitting in the cafe doing the webinar and I managed to get a free coffee because I waited for so long. Um, Mercury retrograde joys, I guess. Anyway, I then visited my friend who cuts my hair, and I took another friend to get his hair cut as well. And I'm always kind of sending my friends there to this friend because like she's really awesome and her studio is so lovely. Anyway, on that same day as well, I had like a really early goodbye party type thing with some friends, and the moon was in Leo, I remember, and it was so fun and grand, and I made a new friend as well on that day. Hiya, if you're watching. Um, I ate also way too much Turkish food, and yeah, we had like a swift pint at my local craft ale pub. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Hmm. On May 2nd, I actually um, received the literal job contract. And I was in such a good mood. And I brought some cake and some flowers to one of my workplaces to celebrate Bealtaine as well. And Mercury on that day was Kazimi, the sun. And despite what else was going on, which we'll get to in a bit, I just kept trying to engage, you know, with this Taurian energy of like keeping my head down, being as peaceful as possible, trying to be that cow in the field who just blinks and bats the eyelashes, you know. And I was able actually to solidify one or two healthier routines, and I feel really good about that. On May 4th, I actually wrote this list of things that I'm no longer going to waste my time doing. And I love to write lists, I love lists. And I was feeling also more happy and giddy due to some of like my diet changes. And around the full moon in Scorpio, I met my really good friend and we did like a Love Island sleepover thing. I love her so much. Um, Also, just generally, like this Taurus season, people just kept on feeding me things. It was so random. Um, like I didn't even ask for these things, but they just kept coming up to me and giving me stuff like rhubarb ice cream, copious amounts of cheese, like scrumptious vegetarian fried rice, and they were just being such lovely people. And also, one of my friends, he's like the best barista I've ever met, and he made one of the smoothest, most satisfying lattes I have ever had. Um, and also, one of my bosses at work did this really cute gesture of printing out a photo of George Ezra for me because I did tell him how much I love George and how I appreciate his awkward handsomeness. Yeah, so he printed this picture of George for me, and I'm gonna frame it and keep it forever. I don't have it with me right now, but maybe I'll show you in another video. And also on May 9th, that was apparently the exact date that I decided I would do this video and start this series of reading back, which I hope some of you enjoy. And I guess even if you don't enjoy, it's just going to be like a random vlog type thing. And the moon on this day was in Capricorn and it was trine the sun in Taurus. So I love trine magical manifesting energy. And Mars was also conjunct my ascendant. And I also met a friend on that day for cake. I love cake meetings in Canary Wharf. And we happened to bump into two other friends. One of those friends actually was working at the cake shop and they gave me a really nice discount. And it was nice to bump into that friend as well. She just looked so lush and lavish, like with her new hairdo, and she just seemed so happy and chill. You know, good for her. By May 10th, then I was finally able to like apply for my work visa and get just one step closer to being able to tell people like when I'm actually leaving because everyone keeps asking, but wasn't able to give like a specific date. And on the night of the 15th/16th, I had honestly one of the best dreams I've ever had, like in a long, long, long time. And the dream had like the song by Black Eyed Peas called I'm a Bee playing, and there was lots of sunshine and sunshades, and I just, yeah, it was just such a nice dream. And I woke up feeling really happy. And on the same day, one of my best friends told me she just got a new job, and I'm really pleased for her because she had been down in the dumps for ages. And just, when you're stuck in that Taurus mud, rutty energy, it can be very hard. And it was grand to just know that she's going to be on the up and up very soon in her new position, and her new workplace seems super nice. So, yeah, good for her. Good for all my friends and acquaintances who are getting these blessings. Let me put this. Sorry, let me put this tea down because it's a bit awkward. Um, Also, I'm so cringe sometimes. So on May 19th, oh my God. Does anyone else, by the way, write a diary or a journal and then read back and you're like, oh, I'm so cringe. Um, but on May 19th, I was obviously hyped and I wrote, I am intending for my allies and friends to be blessed and that I may have great memories and experiences with them. I intend to be able to have this beautiful new start in Korea as a teacher, astrologer, and with my own new beautiful life and home, abundant with plants, useful possessions, good vibes, and healthy routines, and good food and drink around me. I want to continue to look good, to be kind and lovely and beautiful, and to attract the Capricorn man I want and need. So yeah, if you're a Capricorn, yeah. Um, okay, now for the kind of the bad stuff, which I'll try to keep quick and brief because ew. But it is interesting, like to see these things play out in an 11th house season, which is supposed to be the season of good spirit and good stuff. And the main thing I noticed is that I've been super broke with my preparations to move, right? As unless you're a millionaire, yeah, it can be super hard. Um, that's one of the main things I realized. Like, and my family and friends have been so supportive, and I literally could not have progressed up to this point without them, without that help. And this is the season of allies, actually, the 11th house, and circles and groups and communities. Now, Mars, right now, as I film, is in my second house in Leo. So I do have to pay a lot of people back over the next couple of months, but it's been worth it in, the long run. And another general thing I've struggled with is giving up certain things in my diet, and it's just been so difficult. And I think, let me know in the comments if you struggle with this as well. But I think because it's been tied to like the stresses I've been feeling, and so yeah, on one day in my journal, I wrote that I ate so much like peanut butter and jam. It's unreal, like in one sitting, just like binge. Then also at one of my jobs, there was some tensions with bosses, and like this was around the full moon as well in Scorpio in particular, and it got very ridiculous. And one boss who just hated me, he kept cutting my hours and like just would not leave me alone. And like the kind of person you could save their mother from drowning and it would still be your fault. He was that kind of person. Anyway, he quit or got relieved or something from his post. So whatever, man. But he did say some really interesting things to me during this season, and one of them was about my age. I'm 32, by the way, but he was making that kind of comment, and also in such an irrelevant way. But I've met that kind of person before who just doesn't. I don't think they like my spirit. Like especially certain straight men get very rubbed the wrong way by me or by it, and I think it's because they view it as like arrested development, or they want to project their expectations of what a man should be onto me or what I should be. um but like literally nobody asked you. Like he would also tell me that basically all of my colleagues are better than me, that if I just quit now everyone would be happy. He would say stuff like that. And he reminded me actually of this other job I had years ago, which, by the way, I was terrible at that job, and I got fired. That's the only job I've been fired from. Yeah, I only lasted a couple of weeks, and I was actually very young as well. But that boss as well seemed to want to spite me, and he didn't want to pay me, so I had to call the business and write a letter as well and post it through the letterbox of the business and all this like shiz just to get my money. And I will never forget one phone call I had with him when I was just trying to like be like, where's my money? And he said to me down the phone, you might speak all these languages, but you will never amount to anything. And I was just like shocked, obviously, but also like, man, why are you saying that now? Like, just give me the money, man. Like, what's the relevance here? Anyway, moving on. Let's move on from that. Which date should we look at now? May 5th, I think. Yeah, May 5th, May 6th. I was having some like weird and quite sad dreams, and I won't go into detail, but they involved an ex, and it was one of those experiences where you wake up actually teary-eyed, but also looking at the date now, just I'm seeing now that was actually the full moon in Scorpio. Nice. And anyway, in that same week, I did do a lot of readings, like a lot of readings. I've been really busy with readings actually recently. But also just generally like having more conversations with friends, people who are feeling down. And it was just kind of like the time to listen and communicate and vent and talk like a lot of things through with people. And I do wish that everyone like feels a bit better now that we're in Gemini season. Things are a bit more spicy and light-hearted and more upbeat. Um, anyway, May 14th, I also have. That was again going back to this guy who hates me. On May 14th, that was my last bad interaction with him, and he and by the way, on that morning, the tarot card I pulled was the Five of Pentacles. um, so anyway, I went to work as I normally do, and he cut me off like 2 hours into my shift, saying he doesn't need me and saying like the same shiz that I mentioned before. Others could do better than me. Commenting on my age. So that was just a shit day, and I actually cried in the toilet, which I've never done there before at work. And I've had my fair share of like really shitty days there, but that one just really shook me up. And anyway, on the plus side, I know I'm supposed to talk about the negative now, but on the plus side, because he cut me off so early, I was actually able to get some visa preparations done earlier than I thought, and I could progress things further for the positive. And it was such a gorgeous sunny day that day as well, so thanks, bro. Anyway, on the same day when I woke up from that awesome dream that I mentioned before, I found out that he quit or he was let go. So that was the same day, and that he's apparently banned from the premises. Oops. Um, anyway, enough bad stuff. How about we finish with some weird or curious stuff? So on, let's have a look. May 4th, on May 4th, I wrote, while being utterly broke and poorer than a hoe in winter, that I was also feeling oddly great and happy and calm and hopeful. So I found that one of the weirdest things, like just the juxtaposition of feelings. And yeah, I think that's an interesting thing about Taurus season in general and Taurus energy. There can be a very like c'est la vie sort of die-hard resistance to the unpleasant things. It's hard to describe, but it can be very like yeah, like that. It's kind of like sleep for dinner, but I'm also feeling on cloud nine type of thing. Yeah, on May 9th, what did I want to talk about? On May 9th, I received this random message from like a former colleague of mine who was like responding to one of my stories saying like how astrology is not real, they don't believe in it, and like I just ignored them, but like also who asked you? Like that was so weird. Like just get on with your day, please. And then the next day I was in one of my online astrology classes learning about zodiacal releasing and loosening of the bonds and Saturnalia. And when I looked at my own chart on zodiacal, my zodiacal releasing reports, I discovered that I was having a loosening of the bond on that very day, which was pretty weird and like wonderful. And then on May 13th, I was just walking down the street and I bumped into like one of my local hookup boys, and it was quite awkward, but like also like, let's reconnect. How's your schedule? um, on the new moon in Taurus as well, that was I think around like May 17th. I experienced more of what I have mentioned before on this channel. I think like around new moons, like small cuts, like accidental cuts to fingers and hands, and like little bleeds, which often happens for me around new moons. And then later, around May 20th, 21st, as the sun was about to leave Taurus and hit Gemini, my 12th house, I was just trying to like grab two glasses to pass to someone, and they both exploded and they smashed everywhere. And like I cut my thumb. It wasn't like a deep cut, but I did bleed quite a bit. So yeah, that was fun. That happened. So like, I think there's like much more stuff. There is more that like I could talk about, but let's leave it at that for now. It's been really cool to track and look back at my Taurus season experience. And of course, with Jupiter there right now for a whole year ahead, I don't think the Taurian energy is going to decrease anytime soon for us, wherever we have Taurus in our charts. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments how your Taurus season was, what happened, anything like really great or really awful or just bizarre, because like people are just bizarre. I'm bizarre. Life is bizarre. Like I kind of like it though. Yeah. Anyway, bye. Have a great hump day, and see you in the next one. Mwah.